YouTube was good, man. Today we're actually going to adjust and figure out a few things and make sure everything's working on the Silverado build. We are getting it ready because we are about to take this trip to Texas/Mexico, and we're going to be taking the Silverado out there. We're going to be jamming in Houston, and we're definitely going to go into Mexico. The subs are still banging pretty decent. I don't even have to worry about that. It's just, for some reason, I feel that the mids and highs in the bed could be a little bit louder. So we're going to play with the crossovers and we're going to play with the amps and see what we can do. Okay, so let me break down what we got. So this MD3000.1, it is actually on the mids and highs that are on the side panels, which is these guys, these 610s. Those right there. The 212s and the 210s are actually on this HD 3000.1. Then we actually have crossover. This is the one for the rear. And this JL audio amp is actually on the top mids, tweeters as well too. And these horns that are here on the side and the tweeters as well. So that JL audio actually powers up a lot. I know there's a lot of speakers on that. But like I said on the previous video, once we get back from Texas, we are actually going to go ahead and redo the whole sound system. And we're going to get more amps for the 8s and the tweeters. We may actually even delete the 8s and just stick with nothing but 10s. Let's take a listen to see how it sounds right now before we actually start adjusting, so we can actually have a before and after. Let's hear how it sounds real quick. This is before right here. It don't sound that bad. I just feel that it just needs a little bit more tweaking. These 12s and these 10s are like putting out some like serious deep, mid bass, which I like. It has like that thump. The very popular thing around here, where everybody is always more concerned, is having like that thump. And man, we definitely got a good amount of thump coming out. And don't forget, these 212s and these 210s are actually on a ported enclosure. Look, those are the ports right there. And it actually moves some real strong like mid bass. And these actually play like mid range. And the tweeters like define the sound, and the horn plays like the vocal. Overall, it doesn't sound that bad, but if we can actually get it to sound just a little bit more cleaner, louder, that'd be awesome. So we have the EQ that we have adjustments on it, and a lot of people always tend to have like 4 EQs for everything, and that's fine, and we're actually going to get to that soon when we actually build our Medusa. But I feel with the EQ settings, they're a little bit below like middle or somewhat at the middle. I feel that we lose like dB volume, where it could be a little bit louder. And that's where it actually comes into play, adjusting the amps a little bit better, just so we can be able to turn up the EQ a little bit more and just adjust the amps so they can slowly, catch up with each other and play, very decent sound out of them. So what we're actually going to do is we're just going to put everything in the middle before we actually get started, guys. Bass, everything. And then we're going to actually turn down all the amps. And these Terra amps have like a high pass, low pass, frequency and boost. The high pass and the low pass actually gives us a hand adjusting it and giving it like more vocal and more bass to it, to where the point where it's like really thumping. And the crossover just filters out any extra bass, so it doesn't create distortion or like sounding real ugly. And listen, like, man, these PRV amps I feel are the best way to go if you're trying to be loud mids and high wise, because man, there's just something about these amps. If you can adjust them to perfection, man, these amps are going to produce some mad power, and it's going to get your mids and highs like jamming. This PRV crossover, it actually has like a mid low out, it has a high mid out, and it has a high out. The single RCA is actually going into the HD 3000, which gives us like our thump. That's with the 212s and the 210s in that ported enclosure. This RCA is actually going to the 310s on each side, and this one's actually going to the tweeters. So what we're gonna actually do, I just want to like test some stuff out. So I actually want to like, we'll turn these off, which is cool. We can just hit the button and it turns them off, the signal going into them. So I actually want to disconnect the RCAs to the mid high out and just connect them directly to this MD3000, which is powering the side mids, because I want to see like what it does, like how much louder it actually gets with them, because I feel that it's like clipping it out and not letting it get loud like it's supposed to, because it's, you know, filtering out. So we're just gonna like test this guy out real quick. Let's turn this one halfway up and see what it does. Look, you see already it sounds more mids and more bass going through them. Did you hear how it just sends a lot of mid bass going through it? That's where that crossover comes into play and filters all that out. You hear it? Look. But we can actually come in and turn down the frequencies a little bit just to get it to play a little smoother. So let's turn this up. Okay, we turned down the low pass a little bit and the high pass. Let's see how that sounds. Oh yeah, look it. You see it sounds more mid bassy. You hear it? So we need to play with it actually. So let's turn this up and watch how like it starts coming into life a little bit more. But it just has way too much like bass going into it. You hear it? We could never play the mids and highs like that, because those will just blow. Okay, so I think it's actually a better idea to put it back on the crossover. The RCA back into crossover, and let's hear how it sounds with the crossover again. All right, you hear right there how there's no mid bass in it now? To me, it sounds like muffled. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so that right there, it's actually, I just tested out to see what it does. It was on the low mid out and I wasn't feeling it. So let's actually plug this guy back into the mid high. So now what we're gonna actually do is we're just gonna turn the level all the way down. Everything down, so we can properly adjust it. Now let me just somewhere just real quick just adjust this at a positive level. Just so we can have something to work off of. Okay, so let's turn the level up. How that sounds right here. You see how it still has a little bit of mid bass? So let's actually play with the crossover. So let's turn the frequency all the way up, and then we'll slowly back it down to where it plays where we really want it to play. Okay. Okay, you see that's with the frequency all the way up. Okay, you see how there's no more mid bass? So what we're gonna do is slowly just like play with it. So it has a lot of like high frequency, but I still want a little bit of like deep frequency action. So we need to like play with that frequency right now. Okay, I feel like it's sounding a little bit better. Those 10s. I turned down the high frequency down a little bit at the amp just. Okay, so I feel that the 610s are actually pretty good now. Let's actually concentrate on the 212s and the 210s in that ported enclosure. So we're gonna come back here. We're gonna turn that off. Now let's turn this guy on and see what it do. Those things are like pumping, serious. Yeah, it looks like those adjustments on those 212s, maybe because it's in the ported enclosure, but those things sound like really good, really good. It has that thump that we're looking for. Man, that bass, mid bass sounds good. They don't distort. And those are actually two EV10s and the Selenium mid bass speakers. Man, them EVs are like $300 a piece. These Selenium 12-inch mid bass, man, those things are like probably like $299 a piece. I don't know if it's because it's in the ported enclosure. They sound really good. I was actually just pretty impressed. I haven't really just heard those things alone, but man, they're draining. Those 410s are draining out these 610s. I'm not even gonna play with you guys. I'm not even lying. Maybe when we redo the side panels, we actually build ported enclosures, because those things are like, they're on another level. And these things just sound like they're underwater talking. But man, those 212s and those 210s are banging, guys. All right, so let's hear how it sounds with everything together. But I feel that JL audio amp is taking a dump. So I feel that the truck is a little bit better adjusted than what it was. That JL audio amp, I feel that it's slowly dying out, so we actually need to order a new amp for it. That JL audio amp is like, I think the 600/4 or it's the 12. Look, I'll tell you right now. That JL audio amp is it's the HD 600/4. And that, like I said, that one's running the 2 8s, all the tweeters, and the 2 horns. So we actually need to break it up. We need to go ahead and get one amp for just the 8s and another amp just for the horns and the tweeters. And that will actually give us more power for the horns and the tweeters. And this thing would probably talk a little bit better. Somewhat adjusted these 610s pretty good. Man, those 212s and the 210s, those things are like flawless. Those things are banging. It's probably because they're in that ported box. We probably need to put these 610s in their own box with some ports on the side. So we need to take mental notes of that for our next build. But definitely these things are screaming for some power, and we need to go ahead and get them. I actually may buy another driver just so they can scream a little bit louder. These are actually Selenium horn lenses with DS18 drivers in them. So we may actually swap those out. The Selenium Trio tweeters, those things are like always going to be loud no matter what. Drop down in the comments and let me know if you guys heard a difference. I actually felt a little bit difference with the side 10s versus what they were before we actually started tuning it. But they could use new speakers, a new build, new amps and everything, which I'm well aware of and we are going to do. But we just need this thing jamming good, so when we actually go to the beach, go to a few truck meets and everything, you know, we can at least put on a show for the people of Texas and in Mexico. I think that's pretty much it for today. I think it's pretty good. I'm actually going to get on the internet right now and look for amps and order them and get those things in, hopefully by the end of the week, so we can go ahead and put those amps in, adjust those, and if we need to troubleshoot anything else, we will do so. That's definitely it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Tune your vehicles really good. Man, take time, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever you got to do to tune. I'm going to look more into the tuning with that laptop, with the DSPs, but we are rocking crossovers right now. We're rocking Terra amps, and we're jamming. So with that being said, hope you guys have a good one. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.